God Invasion Podcast. I'm Carol Gehring, and today we are going to learn about what heaven is like. We've been learning about heaven, and we're going to continue because there's so much to learn. There's a lot in the Bible about heaven, and you don't hear much about it. So I want to tell you about it because it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and we're going to learn all the different things that happen up there, and it's going to happen up there. It's just going to be amazing. So today the topic is, what will heaven be like? You know, we've learned and we understand that heaven is God's home, and it's his actual resident, and that he says in John 14:3 that I am going to prepare a place for you, that where I am, you may be also. That is exciting to me. So, you know, we know that his home is a place where we're going to be welcomed and loved, and it's going to be a place where we can retire from all this strife of this world, all this junk that goes on all the time, and we're not going to be in sorrow. We're going to have peace. We're going to have rest. We're going to have a place of unlimited provision. No more working jobs. Hallelujah. You know, no more sickness, no more pain, no more disease, no dying, no hate. Can you imagine a place with no hate, with no evil, with no murder, with no revenge? Oh my goodness, I just can't even imagine. It's just going to be a beautiful, beautiful place. And it's really hard to imagine a place like that. But we're also going to experience the purest form of love like we never have experienced here on this earth ever. This is going to be a place for those whose name is written down in the Lamb's Book of Life, and they're going to be reunited with family members who've gone on before through death. You know, so many people, I myself have lost my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, my uncles, my aunts. I mean, I've lost a lot of people in my family. And but we're going to be reunited with those whose names were written down in the Lamb's Book of Life. I'm going to see them again, and it's just going to be an amazing time as we gather together. We're going to feast at the Father's table for a renewed fellowship. You know, and I know some of you are thinking you're lucky because I never had a mom or a dad. I never had anybody that cared for me. I can't even say I have a family, but guess what? This is what's amazing. For those of you who've had a good home and a good life, this is going to be a beautiful time with your family coming together and getting to see each other again. But for those of you who were cheated out of a good home life, heaven's going to make it up to you. You know, God's going to make it up to you. You're going to have a new family where love is all around, and the atmosphere of heaven is just going to fill your whole life. And never, ever again will you be pulled away from God or from somebody that doesn't love you. You know, I mean, I guess you don't mind being pulled away from somebody that doesn't love you, but you probably love them, or you think a lot about them. Maybe they don't love you. I don't know. But you know what? God is going to have a place in heaven where you are going to be loved. You're going to have a family, a beautiful family where you're going to be loved with the purest form of love. And you're going to be part of a great family, the family of God. And then those who've lost loved ones, they're never going to lose another one again. It's never going to happen because there's no death in heaven, okay? But Apostle Paul puts it like this in Romans 8:38 and 39. He says, "For I'm convinced that nothing can ever separate us from his love. Death can't, and life can't." Isn't that amazing? You know, so it's just going to be awesome. And another thing that about heaven is Jesus said that in my house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you so. He says that in John 14:2. This indicates that this is a very large family, and it's going to require lots of mansions. Though we have seen very large families on earth, this will be unlike anything we've ever seen. I personally know a family that had 11 children, and many of you have seen on Facebook the Collins family has 12 children, and others that have had, 21, I think? I don't know. But, there's large families, but then there's families that have only had one, but in heaven, we're going to be a huge family, and never again will you be outcast or unloved. I mean, it's going to be a place of pure love. So this family reunion that the Lord is going to have is going to literally combine and a reunion with all countries, nations, and tribes. As we come together, this is going to make a beautiful heavenly family. And all people that were born into the family of God on earth will be reunited with those who've gone on before them and are in heaven. We're going to be all reunited again. And what a joy it's going to be to see everyone that as their name was written down in the book of life, we're going to get to see them again. There's not going to be any more division, no more strife, no more hatefulness, no more slander, no more evil. We will all love one another with this purest form of agape love, which we learned about that a little bit earlier in this week. So tomorrow, we're going to focus on the word mansions that Jesus talked about, that you may be wondering, well, what will they be like? You're going to have a mansion, I'm going to have a mansion, and they'll have many rooms. And we're going to talk about this more tomorrow as we're learning this topic about heaven and how wonderful this place is going to be. It's just amazing to me because Jesus is preparing a place for all those who believe and call on his name. And when you're part of his family, you're going to find he has a place for you, and he's building a mansion right now for you. So tune in tomorrow for more about heaven and all of these things that are taking place that we're learning about. But we're going to be talking about mansions tomorrow in our topic. So don't miss that podcast because you're going to find out what are we talking about. He's building a mansion for you, for me. So we're going to find out about mansions. So if you're enjoying these podcasts, please tell your friends and others, and because they may be interested in this topic too, okay? And I'm excited about it because I know in my heart there's a heaven, and I want you to go with me. That's why I spend time doing these podcasts, because I want you to be part of what God is providing for all of us. So until tomorrow, we will see you again, and God bless.
For tuning in to God Invasion. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with someone who needs to hear about the power of God's transforming love. When God invades our lives, we can release a global revival, because together we can make a difference.